how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I really do appreciate you. So, the title says How You Can Immigrate to Canada Over the Age of 40. I do get asked a lot, peers and friends wondering if they can still immigrate to Canada even if they are considering themselves as super adults, right? Canada welcomes immigrants, that's for sure. However, they do have a certain age group that is targeted for priority to move to Canada, and that is between the ages of 18 to 30. When you're in that age group, then yeah, when you grow older, say 35, 40s, and 50s, the chances of you moving to Canada, especially because of your age factor, start to drop down a little bit. In this video, I want to give you the information that you need to know whether it's still possible for you to decide moving from your country and immigrate to Canada and start a new life. You see, a lot of times when people want to immigrate to Canada, a majority of them are already established in their home countries. For example, they do have a good education, they do have progressive careers. Some of them are already entrepreneurs, running businesses, managing businesses. However, we tend to want to move to Canada with the hope you can get a better life, a better living standard, or have a better future for your family. That's why most people would prefer immigrating to Canada, even if they are already established in their home countries. Now, I know by the time you are done with your education and you have a good career going on, or already established yourself as an entrepreneur running and managing businesses, the years have gone, right? You have grown a little bit. Now, that's when the age becomes a compromising factor when it comes to immigrating to Canada as an adult. Let's dive into this conversation and maybe you could see how you can move to Canada even if you are over the age of 30, 35, 40. Though the age factor can reduce your points for certain immigration programs, it is important to note that it will not make it impossible for older people to immigrate to Canada. There are so many, several ways to immigrate to Canada, and here is how. Make sure that you get more points in other immigration factors. That way, you compensate the age factor. The express entry points gradually start reducing when somebody is over the age of 30. After you turn 30, each birthday that you make, you lose 5 points. After the age of 40, you lose 10 points. And after 45, you don't receive any points to the age factor. It's really important to make sure that at least you compensate the age factor with other immigration factors that they want. The express entry program is based on the more the points. You have an education, work experience, you are between the ages of 18 and 30, more points, right? It is based on a point system. First thing, you want to make sure that you can compensate the age factor. So get yourself a degree or a diploma, have some work experience. Language proficiency is a very powerful tool in order for you to increase your chances to immigrate to Canada. Canada is a bilingual country and both English and French are considered as official language. They have equal consideration when it comes to your language proficiency. So you could either be French speaking or English speaking. However, if you have both, then that is a very big advantage for you. Some of us, like where I come from, we speak English. We study English right from kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, all the way to university, we study English. And in the workplace, English is the norm. So by the time I want to immigrate to Canada, I'm fluent in English in all aspects, right? However, I don't know any French. And vice versa. There are some colleagues who come from countries where French is their first language, so to speak. They study in French, live their lives, interacting in French, use French as the official language wherever you are. However, when you're coming to Canada now, you want to consider if I am English speaking, then I would try my best to make sure that I learn French. So go ahead, go study some French. Make sure at least you can write and at least speak some French, right? Similarly, if you are from a French speaking country, try to learn English. Have a conversation in English and also written. And when you have good points in either languages, you have a higher chance for you to be considered. Even better if you get a score of CLB 7 in French and CLB 5 in English, and you get an extra 50 points in your express entry. So it's higher the chance for you to be able to immigrate to Canada as somebody who is both good at French and English. That is one easiest way for a lot of people to embark on having a second language and be able to present your papers or application as somebody who can speak and understand both English and French. Let me tell ya, Canada offers over 80 immigration programs, and one of them is the provincial nominee program. In most provincial nominee programs, age is not really a considered factor for people to move, for people to immigrate into those provinces. So in this case, you want to look out for all the provinces in Canada. Yes, you just want to look out for whichever province or you prefer and see what kind of programs do they provide them. How do your education and experience match in terms of what you're going to offer in that province? And chances are you will be a better match. And that doesn't matter how old or young you are. Another way of increasing your chances of immigrating to Canada as an adult over the age of 30, 35, 40, 50, and so on and so forth is to have a post-secondary education or work experience in Canada. Now, I know that this mostly applies to people who are already in Canada. Say, for example, you're not in Canada yet. The other easiest way for you to immigrate or be able to immigrate to Canada, whatever age you are, is apply to come study in Canada. It's gonna be a post-secondary education. Could be in a tertiary institution, it could be in an academic university or any kind of academic institution. Get a post-secondary education. And normally, when you have a post-secondary education in Canada, you're able to work. With a post-secondary education in Canada, you get up to 30 points added onto your express entry application. And when you have a qualified work experience, you get an extra 50 points. In a nutshell, please remember that the age factor will not stop your dream to immigrate to Canada. I have sure seen a lot of people who have moved to Canada when they were much older. So the age factor, yes, it can be a bias to somebody's hopes and dreams. However, just know that it will not make it impossible for you to immigrate to Canada. In this case, what you want to do is analyze your express entry immigration application, scrutinize it from the top to the bottom, see which areas that you can improve, and then you can come up with the best strategies for yourself. For example, learning a second language, either English or French, or you could consider the more remote provinces because you want to get the more chances for you to be invited to apply for immigration to Canada. And with that, I think I've come to the end of this video. I hope you learned something. And if you did, give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think or what other options that you may want to try to consider and any suggestions that you want me to talk about in my next video. And with that, I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye for now.